Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sisterino back here with you to talk about The Circle Season 2 premiere. And what a premiere. We just watched The Circle is back. And so are your top two influencers here to talk about another season of The Circle back on Netflix. I'm Rob Sisterino. Here's Taryn Armstrong. Taryn, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. Very excited to be here. Winky face emoji sent.
Taryn, you don't know how hard it was for me to open the show and not refer to myself as hashtag humble dilf.
Hashtag humble dilf. Well, I luckily you didn't, because then I would have replied with hashtag I'm a fun guy too.
Yeah. So much to unpack here from the kickoff of The Circle back on Netflix. We are going to have coverage of every episode of season 2 of The Circle, which just dropped on Netflix. We will have 4 episodes of the podcast talking about all 4 episodes of The Circle, which just dropped this week. We'll cover only the premiere here. In case you have watched ahead, we will only be talking about the premiere here in this episode. Then on Thursday of this week, Taryn will have episode 2 coverage. Taryn will have episode 3 coverage, and then we'll all get back together on Saturday for a week 1 roundtable live here on our YouTube channel at Rob Has a Podcast on YouTube to talk about everything with a big panel. We'll do that every Saturday for each week of The Circle. There's 3 weeks in total, and then a 4th week, which will be the finale. If you want to subscribe to our Circle coverage, get podcasts about each and every episode of The Circle Season 2, plus all the coverage that Taryn did about The Circle UK and the Celebrity Circle UK, which just wrapped up. Go to robhasawebsite.com/Circle Podcast on Apple Podcasts, or search for Circle RHAP on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Taryn, how excited are you for more Circle?
I'm very excited. You know, we had the celebrity edition in the UK, which was very short and very fun. Then we had the regular edition, season 3 of The Circle UK, which was very interesting. Had a very compelling storyline. And now we're back with The Circle US season 2. And I really am excited about the direction that they seem to be heading. The previews mentioned that this was a more strategically focused cast. And right out of the gate, almost every single person in their intro mentions strategy, alliances, and that is very exciting to me, because I feel like this is an area of The Circle that we have not really fully explored yet.
Yeah. Season 1 of The Circle on Netflix. Very fun. Not a very strategic season, very much about like the friends they made along the way in Circle season 1. How much ahead are the UK versions of The Circle, Taryn?
Not that far ahead, to be honest. In the UK, the idea of being tactical or strategic is kind of taboo in the way that it was when Survivor started airing here in the US, but they never really had their moment where Richard Hatch wins and Dr. Will wins and everyone cheers, kind of. So the idea that a player might be playing the game is actually considered to be an insult in the UK. And even though they are playing the game, they have to do so very, very lightly, lest they be caught having anything to do with strategy. And so that has kind of put a limit on the amount of strategy that they can do.
Okay. Any other big thoughts on the format change? Have you noticed anything that they are doing differently here in season 2 than they did in season 1?
Comparatively, not really. I mean, what's fresh on my mind is the UK season. You know, there are obviously some slight differences. I feel like the decoration in the rooms is very different than how they decorate in the UK.
I wanted to ask you this. Do they customize the rooms based on the people that inhabit them? For instance, Bryant's room seemed like that really matched his personality. When Teralicia comes in, she comments about how the blue cabinets match her hair. Are they like doing the set decoration to pair up with a person?
I think to some degree, yes. Although I noticed that there were blue cabinets in maybe Chloe's room as well. There was somebody else's room also had that blue color. And I was like, well, there goes that. But But no, I do think that they try to have it match the person's personality to
Yeah.
some degree if
Like
they
getting
can.
your HOH room. They
Yes.
could do a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's meet our 8 competitors that we've met so far here in the circle, and then talk through the events of episode number 1. We have Savannah here, who comes in, who is, a real standout, and I have to say, probably the number 1 contender.
She feels like the main character to me right
Yeah.
now. We're introduced to her first, and we got her perspective consistently throughout. And then, of course, by the end of the episode, she is one of the top dogs. So definitely feels like somebody that is going to be here to stay.
Yeah. What exactly is her job? She works in Washington, D.C. She works in the government.
She says she does data research on Capitol Hill. So
Okay.
there's plenty of data to research. I
She
don't
works
know
in
exactly
robotics
what
also.
data she researches, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Savannah, such a standout for me.
Yes,
I was a big
going in
fan.
as herself, which
Yeah.
is usually a good thing in
Mhm.
terms of longevity. She has personality. She is clearly very smart, and I think that there's a lot of potential here.
I was a little concerned with Savannah when she walked in because she looks very glamorous on her, entrance to the circle.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh well, people are not going to believe she needs a catfish because nobody's going to believe that she's real. And then luckily, like most of her pictures that she's posting so far, her profile picture, like very much like her on a normal day.
Yeah, and I honestly I feel like in some ways having that kind of contradiction where you have a personality that maybe contrasts with how you look can actually kind of sell that you're real. We're actually going
Hmm.
to see in this episode when she talks about being on the robotics team, they were like, "Oh, she's got to be real,"
Yeah.
and that's because it's almost like when you're catfishing, you don't expect somebody to come in with contradictions. You expect them to come in and play it like you would expect because that's the easy way to do it. So if you come in with facts that might not seem immediately apparent, then I think it's actually more believable in some ways.
Interesting. All right. Speaking of catfish, we have Jack who comes in. Jack is going to be playing as Emily. Okay. So we have Jack who's going to be playing as Emily. That he doesn't want to be just a boring, basic girl. He's going to try to spice things up and say things like "rose all day."
Yeah. He was like, I don't want to be a basic, boring, cute girl, whatever. And then he writes the most basic, boring bio. I
Yeah.
was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I am concerned here about Jack because like what he's going for in terms of like, hey, I'm going to be the villain. They'll never see it coming. But like, I don't know if he like totally nailed the character of Emily before he set off to go do the circle.
Yeah, and this is the complete opposite of what I just talked about with Savannah, where he's coming in, he's holding a glass of wine, or she's holding a glass of wine in her hand, and now her entire personality is that she just constantly talks about wine,
Hmm.
and like every comment is like some kind of like, oh, wine emoji, oh, I can't wait for my I don't know, wine alcohol thing to happen. It's very like she has no personality so far.
Yeah. Now, Jack, as fans of the Purple Pants podcast, might recognize that Jack, I believe he went on the trip that Bryce and Wendell took to Survivor South Africa. They played in like some Survivor game that was like U.S. survivors versus South Africa survivors. I think that Jack was a person that was on that trip. Him and Bryce have become friends over the years. He's a frequent contributor to the Purple Pants podcast. But I do wonder if he might have binged Bryce's season of Survivor before he went out, because he said when crafting Emily, he needed to make sure
you can't necessarily trust hot.
you can trust cute, but you can't trust hot. As spoken by somebody that Bryce is not a huge fan of, LJ.
The great LJ, yes, wow, words of wisdom. I don't know, like I don't know if he nailed the photo though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there were probably cuter photos that he could have gone with. I feel like I don't know what the difference necessarily is between cute and hot, but I don't know if he nailed it.
Yeah. Emily, I don't think we really got anything else about her character, right?
Not really. No. Just there's that's the other than he did extensive research by binge watching chick flicks,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is going to help.
Did he say which one he watched?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So, we'll see. There should have been some like integration with Netflix of like, I watched a bunch of films that women would like blank, blank, and blank, and then like on the bottom of the screen they can come up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: if he fails at pretending to be a woman, it's not great advertising, right?
Not great advertising. Okay. All right. We meet Bryant. Bryant, he teaches breath work. Taryn, what do you think of Bryant?
Okay, I'm prepared for this. Well, I like Bryant. I feel like yeah, obviously he's such a caricature. But it's fun. It's fun for me. I love that he's saying that he's lived many lifetimes, and so he's talking about like, yeah, I've lived many lifetimes, but at the same time, this might be his last lifetime, so he has to live it to its fullest, which is just such a contradiction of ideas. I love it.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing if it's your last lifetime? Like, do you think that like you nailed it? That's it. You don't have to keep going back, or it's like, hey, you get to go back.
Yeah, is it like look, sorry, we've been looking at your lifetime reports and
You're canceled.
Yeah, this is not working out, unfortunately.
We're gonna
renewed. Have to send in another soul for this lifetime, actually.
Ratings are down.
Yeah, the slot needs to be fulfilled somewhere else.
Yeah. Bryant just seems like a super earnest person. Like there is like no deception coming from him whatsoever, that he's just going to like say whatever he feels in this game.
And that's certainly what it seems like. And he really feels like it seems like he is a guy who has definitely gotten by on having a handsome smile and a positive attitude. And he has just entered the lion's den.
Taryn, I do feel like that this strategy, and I don't think it's strategy from Brian. I think this is who he is, but I do think that this earnestness does work. I feel like where people get in trouble in the circle is like, oh, that's shady. Okay, that didn't make sense what they just said, so I'm dropping them down in the rankings.
I agree. I think that here's the thing. I think that at first, that obviously he's already in some danger, but I think the trouble is that it's going to be hard to relate to. It's going to be hard to be like, oh, I can get along well with this guy. I can chat easily with this guy. So I think that in the beginning of the game, he'll be in a lot of danger. But if he can survive it, then he becomes kind of a novelty. He becomes somebody that you don't need to worry about because he's not scheming against you. And that's where he could maybe come in and do well. But I think he'll need to survive this first bit first.
Yeah. Although this guy is probably a first boot in a Big Brother season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Taryn, the light in me recognizes the light in you. Always.
I'm very, very, very pleased that you said that, Rob.
Okay. Let's now get to where things are getting a little more interesting. Let's talk about Delisa, who is going to be playing as Trevor. She is 23, backwards.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is funny because I actually bought it. I was like, okay, she's 23. Oh no, she's 32. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she's going to come in and she's going to be playing as Trevor, her husband. So this is sort of like the reverse Seaburn, where he came in last season and played as his girlfriend.
Yes. Basically, one of the main reasons she said this, people think that she's full of herself all the time. And so men have it easier. So she's going to play as her husband. And so we'll see how this goes. So far, she has been one of my favorites in terms of just like how poorly she is playing a man.
Yeah. I mean, she had like highs and lows in this episode where she did things as Trevor, which definitely like raised some suspicion. But then towards the end of the episode, it seemed like that she did some really good work with Savannah and cleaned it up.
Yes, and as per usual with catfishes, when she's trying to catfish, it's not really doing much for her. When she opens up from a personal place, then she starts to bond. So, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us, like, in terms, without giving away any of the other seasons that you watched, is the catfishing strategy more in vogue or less in vogue, Taryn?
In terms of its effectiveness or its
Yeah.
popularity?
Yeah.
Both.
More effective and more popular.
I would say it's in recent seasons there have been more catfish than not. They're really going in on the catfish angle. And in terms of effectiveness, it seems like the best way to catfish is to basically have it so that people know that you're a catfish and don't care. It's very rare that a catfish will completely get away with everyone buying in that they're the person they are and also win the game. I think the ideal is that if people think that you're a catfish but they don't really care, then they're going to be a little bit more lenient to you in the final rankings because, well, this person's a catfish. Surely other people won't rate them too high. That's an opportunity for me to rate them a little bit higher. And then everyone makes that same mistake. And then all of a sudden a catfish wins.
Yeah. The catfish is in terms of the balance to the new players and the catfish, like, can players like sort of like intuit anything from the number of catfishes of, say, like, hey, I'm a catfish, so there's probably two other catfish, sort of like in Among Us games where you know how many imposters there are?
Uh, they probably should. I think it's relatively equal. I think in season 3 of the UK there were more catfish than real people, but not by a huge margin. So I think that you can probably estimate that there's about half of the cast as catfish generally. And then you can count however many catfish end up leaving the game or however many real people leave the game, and they are not going to compensate for that. I think they have a set number of people going in to begin with. So if a bunch of real people leave, then you can expect that you're surrounded by catfish.
Yeah, if the players are thinking that, we're not hearing it. Like, for instance, like when they had like the girls just want to have fun chat in the episode, that it didn't seem like any of the women are saying like, okay, well, there's definitely somebody here that is an imposter.
And part of me wonders if maybe, if we skip to the end of the episode here, Emily is not rated very highly. Part of me wonders if the reason why is because they said, okay, there's 4 women in this cast. 2 of them bonded and believe each other and feel like they're real. One of them is from a TV show, definitely feels very real.
Yeah.
The other one seems pretty neutral, is talking about wine and doesn't have any strong opinions. They probably thought that Emily was a catfish, right?
Yeah, especially that both Savannah and Terralisha that we'll talk about, like they just seem like so on it. Like the two of them are just like locked in, and they both seem like really good players. They seem like they're going to be able to really deduce what's going on. Let's talk about Terralisha, who she has an interesting background. She's into math. She says math is your money. She discovered Terralisha's theorem, which we didn't get to find out what that was.
Yeah. She says she's a cool teacher because of her hair. She says she's from Triple D, Dallas, Texas. Do you know what that means?
So you were going to ask.
There's only one D in Dallas, Texas, as far as I'm
think
concerned.
that I think the airport when you land in Dallas is another D.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are gonna get dragged by the Texas listeners. This was
I do think
poor
I've heard
avenue
it before.
to steer down.
I feel like I feel like I've heard it before and I've heard it explained before, but I do not remember why. I'm also Googling Terralisha theorem, and it says there aren't any great matches for your search.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see if we can figure that out later on. She has an expert catfish meter, which I think that she sort of displayed that.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, she has definitely put her math where her mouth is, and she's already on to some catfish.
Yeah. So she calls herself also the Queen of the Jungle.
Queen of the Jungle, and she says, Rob, she says she is a lion.
Leo,
She's a lion. Anthony would be proud.
Mhm.
All right, I'm seeing that Triple D, because of the old Dallas utility logo, which had 3 Ds in it,
Okay.
or it was 3 lines of a D. City of Dallas.
Oof. RIP our mentions on this one. This is not going to go great. This is not going to go great. Okay. Let's talk about Lee. Lee comes in. Lee is going to play as River. Lee is an author. He's used to being a catfish. He was catfishing before it was called catfishing.
Yes, he was an author who wrote under a female pen name for years. And this is what I've been asking for an author on this show before. I'm super excited because, like, surely an author knows how to get in the head of a character and write dialogue for that character. So I'm very curious to see how Lee performs here. I feel like we didn't get a lot from him.
No.
But obviously the main caveat here is that you have to be a good author.
Yeah. I really was surprised that River was not in the bottom 2.
I feel like we didn't really hear anything from
Well,
River.
that's why. I feel like nobody connected with River. Like River looked like his pictures are like from the 1970s.
I mean, he looks like people I went to college with, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Lee studied up on some slang to get ready for the, he looked up things. He knows what LOL means. He also knows what YOLO means.
No, he does not know what
he doesn't.
YOLO
He knows it
means.
now. He knows it now.
Well, hopefully he knows it now.
Yes. Okay. Taryn, he looked up what .t is. And I gotta say, I'm stumped on that one. I do not know what .t is. I could have looked it up before the podcast, but I wanted to come on and be authentic in my truth of I don't know what if I got a text message that said .t. I don't know.
Yeah. I've got nothing. I'm trying to Google it. I don't know. I'm getting
the mentions are going to be
stock prices.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that Tesla stock?
No.
Okay. I don't know. .t is that like it's not short for like the T. .t. Let me look on my go-to source here. Okay. That's what you text when you don't want to type out the word period T. Okay.
Oh,
so I guess that's like an line break
with the T at the end. That makes more sense to me. Okay. Not you would not say .t. That's it ruins the entire point.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what they put on the screen. Like when you see .com, you don't say like go to Robin's website period com. It's not.
Okay. Did he say dot?
It said on the screen there was a line break period and then the letter T, and he said I know what this means.
Okay. All right.
I called it .t.
So you're the one that messed this up.
I mean I told you I didn't know what that meant. So okay.
I don't know, Rob. I think we'll have to poll the audience. What's worse, not knowing Triple D or calling it .t?
Yeah, well, what is geography? That is not my strong suit. Okay, so we're going to meet Chloe also. Chloe from Too Hot to Handle, which we talked about. I'm not sure what that was. Time's a flat circle. Speaking of circles, it was on last year. I feel like it was like April-ish, May-ish, that was another Netflix series. Taryn, are you familiar with the premise of Too Hot to Handle?
Wasn't it that they just put a bunch of hot people on like an island and then they were like, if you guys don't have sex, we'll give you money?
Yes, basically that if you break the rules were no physical contact. And then if you break the rules, they took money away. But the people were so thirsty on the show that they couldn't resist.
Well, given what I've seen from Chloe so far, not
Yeah,
surprising that
yeah.
she won
Chloe is
10-50.
fun, but yeah, that she was described as boy crazy by some of the other contestants, and I think that is a accurate depiction. Unfortunately for Chloe, she never met anybody. Like she could not find a match on Too Hot to Handle.
Well, hopefully she has found her match here on the circle with Trevor.
Yeah, and yeah, it doesn't have the greatest taste in men. If I recall, in Too Hot to Handle, the one guy she was really like head over heels for, like really kind of like did her dirty and just dropped her for somebody else out of the blue. And so Chloe, people want her to find love on Netflix.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully she will, and hopefully England and America will never have a war.
Yeah, no, she's not book smart, Chloe.
Mm.
Yeah, unfortunately. She's fun. She's fun. She kept saying on the Too Hot to Handle she was looking for a geezer who would give her good chat.
There you go.
That was what she was in search of on
Well,
on Too Hot to Handle.
Luckily, Rob, we have discovered what geezer means, what geezer gals are. So we're all on top. She's looking for a guy who can talk with her well.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
See, so yeah, you're ready to talk with Chloe, and she did make me laugh when she talked about how on Too Hot to Handle she won $10.50. They lost so much money, but because so many people you couldn't keep their hands off each other, that the prize money just kept dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. We didn't even know how you won the show. Then there was like $1,000 left, and they had to like split it like 12 ways.
Well, that's more than 1050 though.
Yeah, she was making a joke. Okay, and then finally the last contestant we meet is Courtney.
Yes.
All
I
right.
didn't get much from this opening, other than he will treat the circle like a huge game of chess.
Okay. So Courtney is here. I thought Courtney was going to come in and catfish.
Nope.
No. Playing as Courtney. Courtney was fun, and is coming in, and now we're ready to go. We got all of our 8 players, and we get everybody chatting. The first maybe faux pas of the season happens when Trevor just drops, "Hey, does anybody else have kids?"
Yeah. Trying to make sure everyone knows he's a single father. And this really is like, again, when you're a catfish, you try to lean into the role that you are playing. And so like, hey, well, I'm a single father. What do single fathers do? I don't know. Talk about their kids. Let people know that they're single fathers. Here we go. Does anyone have kids?
Yeah. And so that's sort of like gets some eyebrows raised where people are like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. But then like just immediately it transitions to like over the top flirting, which is really like what we saw in season 1 of the US circle is that flirting was currency. Flirting was how people just communicated in general. And it seems like we may not get that too much this season, apart from the very public flirting between Chloe and Trevor. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. In fairness, I don't know if Chloe knows any other way to communicate.
That seems very fair. I'm also like, a couple of them recognized Chloe from Too Hot to Handle.
Yes.
But it was never addressed. And I'm very upset about it.
Yeah, that they never asked her about it?
Yeah, was nobody like, hey, are you Chloe from Too Hot to Handle? Like, did they not have that conversation?
So, Taryn, first, I was surprised that she didn't catfish as I thought that it's sort of like it would be fun for the viewers to have Chloe from I like Chloe from Too Hot to Handle. Let me check this show out. But then to have her as Chloe from Too Hot to Handle in the circle, like it feels like that's just a little too meta for me.
I guess so. I mean, could you imagine her catfishing?
It would be hilarious, right? Yeah. And so to have,
I really want to flirt with Trevor, but I'm a 40-year-old dude. Damn it.
It would be interesting that I think it does, though. She is an influencer. I mean, that the show is supposed to be about telling us about like what's going on social media. I do think, on the other hand, it does add the interesting element to what does fame do for a person, or at least pseudo fame of. I mean, because it's sort of like, oh, she's famous. She's on a Netflix show. Wait a minute, we're all on a Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
We're all the
Yeah.
same famous as her.
I mean, we've seen in shows like Survivor and Big Brother, returning players or just anyone with notoriety or fame who comes into a game, a social game, will often have some extra capital because people want to be close to them and they want to like be friends with them. And I don't know if again, it's hard to know because we didn't really have these conversations, but it doesn't seem like that was really the case here with Chloe.
No. In talking about in the all-time Survivor countdown, I've talked about a lot of seasons where they bring back players. You and I just talked about Survivor Guatemala this past week, where there are players who were like, "Oh, you can get Stephanie and Bobby John's autograph later." In later seasons, like Survivor Redemption Island and Survivor South Pacific, like Francesca is talking about, like, "Hey, we don't want these returning players." Christine Markoski calls Coach a temporary player. Nobody seemed like oh wait, they're here now. Okay, we got to get rid of them.
Yeah, and so here in the circle, I mean, I think it's also like who really is Chloe to the circle, right? Like
Star of Too Hot to Handle, season 1.
I mean, she seems very fun and entertaining, but I think there were maybe like 2 people that recognized her, and probably everyone else was like, what is that? So I feel like that effect probably didn't pan out too much.
Yeah. Instead of Too Hot to Handle, should they have gone with some of the stars of Tiger King to bring them into the circle?
Maybe. I mean, I never ended up watching that, but aren't they criminals?
Maybe Carol Baskin might have been available. Joe Exotic still waiting for his release.
Yeah. Calling in from prison.
Yeah, I guess theoretically, I guess he could play from his cell, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That'd be good. He'd be a good catfish. Jungle catfish.
Yeah. He knows
Big
all
cat.
about animals, right? That's the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So, Taryn, we saw some flirting between Chloe and Trevor very publicly, instantly. Turned off a couple of the women who were like, what is going on here? Savannah. And also, we saw that Teralicia did not love that. Courtney has a question for the group. All right. Little icebreaker. If you were a fruit, what fruit would you be?
And Courtney volunteers he would be a pineapple because they are he is quirky and sweet.
So, Taryn, did you give any thought to this question?
I did not give any thought to this question, actually. Did you?
I did, and I struggled with the with what fruit would I be?
Yeah, I'm also struggling because I don't attach any personality traits to fruit.
Yeah.
They're all sweet. Like, that's just a quality of fruit, pretty much, most of them.
Yeah.
So, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I guess I'm a blueberry because I'm blue and sweet.
Blue and sweet? Yeah. I was thinking about, like, am I an apple? Because basically, like, just very, very, just you're gonna get me every day.
I thought about apples.
Always in season.
Like apples.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody in the audience has an idea of what produce Taryn or I would be. We'd love to hear it.
There was that one listener who has that aphantasia. Maybe I don't remember the exact name of it. I think that is not the correct name of it at all. Where you taste words.
Oh, yes.
But I don't remember what I tasted like.
Okay. Yeah, I do recall that, but I don't remember exactly what the outcome was. All right. So we got a game. New game. All right. They're going to give us 2 people, and then you pick which is which. But Taryn, I find this very confusing when we get the catfishes involved.
Yeah. Is this the person or the character?
Yeah, because I'll be honest. When we get to the first question, my partner's mom walked in when I was losing my virginity. All right, is it River or is it Trevor? And then it turned out it was Trevor. But wait, was it really Trevor or was it Delisa? This is all very confusing to me.
I think it was Delisa.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it personally.
So the guy that when Delisa lost her virginity, the guy she was with's mom walked in.
Yes, I think so.
Very confusing.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Like, shouldn't the catfish get to make up facts about themselves if they're catfishing?
I would assume so, but I guess she just translated this one. Maybe she was like, this is something that happened to me, so therefore it has happened to Trevor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is fair. I think that's a good way to do it. It's a personal story. You can tell it well. You just have to change the gender and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. How about this? Who raised $10,000 to save a friend off the street?
Unquestionably, Brian. There's no chance this is anyone but Brian.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that he raised $10,000. We don't know how. Any ideas?
He taught people how to breathe.
A lot of breathwork lessons for $10,000. And he, said that hey, Savannah, look, if you apply yourself, you could do that too. He knows that she'll raise $10,000 for somebody on the street someday.
Yeah. High expectations.
Right.
This is part of the problem, right, with Bryant, and part of the reason why Trevor clearly does not like Bryant very much. Bryant is the kind of person that makes other people look at themselves and go, well, I don't do that stuff. He's still a good person, though, right? There's got to be something wrong with him.
Yeah. Bryant would be a lot, I think, to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, unless he is your loyal to the end, unbreakable bond buddy.
But even still, like I feel like
that's the most the most hard to handle, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. All right. Then who met a guy in a bar and booked flights to Paris together? I mean, how easy could this question be?
Yeah.
Like,
obviously,
who was on Too Hot to Handle?
Yes. Not only that, but also like this is way less out there for somebody that lives in the UK. Like in Europe, right? Like for somebody to meet somebody in a bar and go fly to Paris from the US is
from Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. A way different story.
Yeah. And so somehow then River, aka Lee, thought that okay, maybe Tara Alicia is going to be it, and she was very offended that she got picked for that.
She'll appreciate this. It's a compliment. I'm saying she seems like she'd be spontaneous like that. I'd be offended.
She didn't think it was a compliment. Okay, and then who was part of the national robotics team? Was it Savannah or River?
Well, we missed the Paris flight thing was when Trevor said hashtag plus I'm a fun guy.
Plus I'm a fun guy. You know, the hashtags on this show are like, and I think we talked about this a year ago, that they use hashtags on this show in ways that nobody else uses hashtags.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like, I guess this is if you watched the UK season 3, this is like the Action Man hashtag. But like even then, like in the UK, they seem to use them somewhat correctly. Like it was hashtag Geezer Gals, hashtag Circle Siblings, hashtag Action Man. It was like actual hashtag common things that they'd say all the time. Just saying hashtag plus I'm a fun guy. That's a statement. That's not a hashtag. That was an additional sentence to your message that you just put a hashtag in front of with no spaces.
Yeah. Taryn, that was a great observation. Hashtag, you are a great podcaster.
Oh, thank you so much. Hashtag, I am very appreciative of your compliment when you said that I was a great podcaster. I can't wait to use that hashtag again.
Yeah. The idea of hashtags for anybody who's out there is that there are so many people using this hashtag. You could click the hashtag and see everybody talking about this. At the point that you are using unique hashtags, you no longer need to hashtag something.
I'm currently searching in Twitter hashtag plus I'm a fun guy, and my search result brought up 0 results.
Nobody's ever said it.
I mean, I imagine that there will be some results soon, but as of right now,
yeah, we're the first to get here. Yeah. All right. Who's part of the U.S. national robotics team? Savannah or River? Good job by just about everybody guessing that it was Savannah. Who was the one person that guessed River? Did you catch that?
I believe it was Trevor.
Okay.
Yes.
So good job.
I think she was like, this seems like a guy thing. It would not be a woman thing.
Perhaps Christian Hubicki and Savannah could get some sort of like robotics podcast going.
Well, hey, Jack won't want to hear that because he is low key in love with Savannah now.
Yeah.
He wants the podcast.
Yes. So they all know each other a little bit now. And so we're seeing that Chloe is, very much she wants to get with Trevor. That's still very, very much like Trevor's, front of mind for Chloe. She doesn't understand any other game except for I need to date somebody.
Well, yeah, Rob, love is in the air. Chloe and Trevor, Jack, aka Emily, and Savannah. Speaking of hashtags, we got hashtag Data Daddy. From Emily/Jack.
Yes. What was the Data Daddy? Who is the daddy in that scenario?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. At least it's a better hashtag. And if I search hashtag Data Daddy, I'm concerned about these results, but there are results.
No, don't do it. Don't click on that. Yeah. Also, in the episode that I think that at one point when Trevor was, I forget which woman Trevor was talking to, that then we saw Delisa say that if somebody said that compliment to her, this would be her reaction.
Damn, Daddy, can I taste it?
Yeah. Not Data Daddy.
No. Damn Daddy. Hashtag can I taste it? That's a hashtag.
That was
Damn, Daddy, can I taste it?
Yeah. Okay. Courtney's gonna get a call from Bryant in the private chat. He has an offer unlike any other we've ever seen in the history of reality television, Taryn. The offer is, I offer you friendship with unbreakable loyalty for many lifetimes. What do you say?
Will last many lifetimes to the end. You know what? That sounds like a great deal. I have only ever gotten offers that last the one lifetime, and I don't think anybody has had the courtesy of offering me many lifetimes.
Many lifetimes. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to accept that offer. You have gone well over the asking price.
Yeah. I mean, that is a very generous offer.
Yeah. I don't know. This is my problem with the episode. I felt like it was a little under-edited, and I have no idea why Bryant chose Courtney to make this offer. I have no idea where this came from. I don't really even know how Courtney feels about it, other than the weirdness of the initial ask, which obviously it was weird, but like, how does he feel about it now? I don't really know.
I thought Courtney responded to it very well, though. I think that would be very hard to like give a sincere answer to that request. And Courtney was able to do it and basically gave like a very Bryant answer back.
Yes. And it's I feel like it was not an offer of loyalty for many lifetimes, but it was like, let's start slow and we'll see where we go.
Yeah. Hashtag loyal lads.
Yeah. For all we know, this is our last lifetime. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Do you think anybody's used hashtag loyal lads?
I'm gonna guess yes.
Do we want to know in what context?
Let's see here. The latest tweet is from San Diego's loyal Rainbow fans.
Okay. All right. The true loyal lads.
Yes. Looks like a lot of sports.
Okay. So meanwhile, the loyal lads, they have their thing going on, but we're going to see Emily is going to start out the group chat. Actually, it is funny that the catfish name that Jack chose to go with, popularized by the great Bryce Isaiah, is
Emily.
yeah.
I mean,
wonder
where
if
he
that's
got
a
it, right?
coincidence. Yeah. Yeah.
Surely.
Yes. Speaking of robotics engineers. Okay. So girl group chat. Call it girls just want to have fun. Taryn, you know what I think is amazing? Also, nobody seems to struggle with like, wait, how do I do like everybody like comes in and is able to very quickly have operating of like the circle machinery. Like nobody seems to even have any hesitancy.
Yeah, it's which is always funny because whenever somebody is like catfishing as an old person, they're always like, "Oh, I wouldn't know how to work this," but they all know immediately. They're just guided through it. It's because they're just talking to somebody, right? But it's like, there's no sort of. I do feel like the circle could use a little bit more world building. Why are they here? What is the circle? How does it work? How did they figure out how it works?
Yeah, it's interesting, that they, I guess, like they did the research on this, and I don't know if they touched on the pandemic in any of the UK versions that you've watched recently, but I do feel like that, the circle, like looking back, was like they were the first people quarantined and social distancing, and so now we've spent a year where we're all living our lives in the circle, and this existence that they're in is not like strange or uncommon to us, but really no mention about the world. I mean, I guess that they feel like, hey, 2 years from now, if somebody's popping in the circle season 2, we want this to be evergreen.
Yeah, that's fair. I do feel like just overall, this episode felt very rushed to me. I feel like I remember saying that about the first episode of last season in the US as well, that it just felt a little bit under-edited. The voiceover was a little odd. It was a little lifeless, and just the pacing just felt very off. They're just I don't know. There was just something off about the episode.
Did we start with 8 players to start last season? Do you remember?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Is that traditionally like what they'll start with, 8?
That is traditional in Circle Land. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the hashtag Circle Sisters, hashtag Girl Gang. So the women are all together, and it does seem as though the women are bonding, minus Emily.
Yes. So Emily is trying to get this gal chat going. Girls just want to have fun, which I thought was that just didn't seem like a realistic name of a girl chat to me. But Chloe wants to take over and talk strategy and asks if any of them are single. I was like, wait, what happened to the strategy? Okay, so you're asking about, okay. And they immediately are like, all right, well, we're concerned about Trevor. And this puts Chloe off.
Yeah, because Trevor, among many things that Savannah said she didn't like when he used hashtag I'm a fun guy. Did not like that. And also,
weird.
Hey, Tara Alicia's like, what's up with 411? What is this? 1990?
Yeah. Which, like, fair. Like,
but in fairness to Trevor, that he is not lying about his age. That we saw Delisa come in, that she says I'm 23 backwards. She says Trevor's age is 30. It's not like that she's 50, like masquerading as like 25.
Right, but that's all the more confusing to me because, 32 is only 3 years older than me. I would never in my life use the term "give me the 411." I know what it means. I've heard
Yeah.
it before when I watched TV shows from the 90s, but I would never use it myself in 2021.
Yeah. Do they still have 411?
I don't even know.
Yeah. Somebody call it and let us know.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think that is something that I've ever said before of what's the 411. Cut to somebody sending me my mention podcast from last week where I'm talking about the 411. But yeah, I guess that is an outdated expression.
Yeah, I would say so. Yep. I don't think it's still in use. I think I'm Googling. It says outside of North America, 11N numbers are still in use. But other than that, I'm not seeing anything else.
Okay. So Chloe is asking for help about she is torn about Trevor because she attracts the wrong kind of guys. Hashtag help a girl out.
Yeah, I don't know where she was going with this, but it immediately screamed like defensive, and seemed to immediately put Terralisha and Savannah off. That, like, there's already a rift here.
I'm not sure what they could do for Chloe. Like, I feel like that maybe could they just get like an ice bath or something, that I just feel like that she's in permanently in like one state and I don't know how they fix her.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Yeah, how do you help her out?
I don't know.
You've already said he seems suspicious.
Yes.
Like, what more can you do?
Yeah, Savannah could sort of like just like start to get into like the inner workings of robots, and maybe that could sort of like just like lose the mood for Chloe.
Yeah, I mean, they really did do Chloe dirty here. There are basically two eligible straight men in the circle, and one of them is actually his wife, and the other one is Bryant. So,
Yeah.
where's she gonna go?
Perhaps if she survives the elimination, then they'll bring in somebody who's more of an eligible bachelor for her. Or maybe one day she'll get to be on the challenge, and then she can meet some guys there. All right. Alert. It's time to go berserk, Courtney says. Time to rate the players. Any surprises for you in terms of what the ratings the players were giving out?
Nothing too surprising. We see Savannah and Terralisha give each other the number one spot.
Yeah.
We saw the most amount of ratings from Terralisha, who gave Trevor fourth place and Chloe last place. We see Savannah give Bryant last place. Trevor also not a fan of Bryant. A little bit of hate. A little bit of hate there for Bryant.
Did you think that the ratings were especially strategic this time around? I think that the word tactical got thrown around a lot.
It did, but the problem is that I have no idea what their relationships are. So, like, they're convinced that it's all tactical and strategic, but I don't know what the relationship was for it to have diverted from the relationship to become strategic. So I have no idea. Like, implying that these ratings were strategic implies that Terralisa and Savannah are not actually popular, and that Bryant and Emily are. But that's not the impression that I got from the episode. So I don't know.
Yeah. After the ratings are complete, we see Trevor put in some good work with Savannah, and they bond over the single parent household. And while Savannah did have some concerns about Trevor, thought he was sus earlier in the episode, basically, Trevor wins her back over here.
Yes. And this is
hashtag your big bro.
This is key. We see this all the time in the circle, where somebody is an influencer or about to be an influencer, and they are planning on blocking one person, especially in the early game, just reaching out to that person, forming a genuine bond with them. This could be what saves Trevor's life in the game, because as we see, Savannah and Terralisha are going to become the influencers. Trevor doesn't know that right now, but guarantee, I mean, there's probably a decent chance they would have blocked Trevor here.
Yeah,
If not for this
it's definitely possible, and the way that the episode is set up, that they're not only going to block somebody, they're also going to give two people immunity. I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor is the person that Savannah gives the immunity to.
It's certainly possible, Rob. I can't wait to find out. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Well, I guess then to skip ahead a couple of moments, they could have told us who got immunity.
Yeah, again, like I feel like I got such a small amount of information about the players and what's happening. Like, why did you need to leave this out of the first episode?
That being said, I think that other than us and the people who might be listening to this podcast, I think that we might be the only people who stopped and didn't just watch episode 2. Like, basically, this is like a 3-hour episode.
And I get that. Like, I get the point is that you got to make them watch the next one. You're just trying to get them to binge. And that's very much in line with how the circle tends to edit things. But for me, it's just don't cliffhanger me unless I actually care. I don't care yet. You just cliffhangered me on something I don't care about. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to find out. I'm just annoyed.
Okay. We will find out at the top of the new episode. Do you think that we'll close episode 2 with the elimination? That's really going to slow play it if they wait a whole episode. It's still 24 more hours until the elimination.
24 hours is a long time in the circle. You know, it's definitely possible that we don't get an elimination. But I think, I mean, you gotta give an elimination within 2 episodes, or you know, what are you doing? That's the whole point of the show.
I wonder if we'll get the elimination and then we'll end the second episode with the replacement coming in.
That's definitely possible.
Yeah, like we'll get the elimination, we'll go to a room, and then we'll end the episode with like new person logging into the circle.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot to do in the second episode. So all right, here come the ratings. Bryant 8th. Wow, that was a shocker to me.
It was not a shocker to me. I was fully expecting Bryant to be 8th.
Yeah.
Not only have we seen Trevor say a little bit of hate for Bryant, we also saw that Savannah rated Bryant last. We saw that Bryant's social skills amounted to I want to be your best friend forever and many lifetimes. Please, let's be loyal to each other. And so it did not surprise me at all that he was in last place here.
Okay, number 7, Emily.
This one was a little more surprising, mostly because we, you know, according to Jack, aka Emily, like that was the best conversation he's ever had with a woman. And
for him,
it seemed to go well. But I think looking back, they're probably suspecting he's a catfish. There's something going on here because obviously he's put pretty low. And River is surprised. River's like, what? I rated Emily 1. But I don't think he did, actually. I'm pretty sure he put Trevor 1 because Trevor voted him in the robot.
River's confused.
Yeah. I'm losing hope in my author here.
Okay, Chloe is 6. She wanted to be at least top 5. She ends up in the 6th spot. I feel like Chloe is not long for the game.
It's not looking great right now, no. It would not surprise me if Chloe ends up being the one that is blocked from these 2 influencers. You know, I think the only reason she wouldn't be is it just might seem a little savage because they have had a group chat with her, but we don't know what kind of other conversations they've had. There's a chance that they have talked with everyone else, and if so, it would not surprise me if Chloe was the one they booted.
We had a tie for 4th place. It was Courtney and River.
They're both going to take it.
Yeah, they'll both take it.
It's a good spot to be.
Was very surprised River was this high.
I was too. I was like, oh, there's River. I forgot about River.
Yeah. I also was surprised 3rd place was Trevor. Now, the work that Trevor did with Savannah came after they did the rankings. So this was surprising.
Yeah. I mean, we did see that Teralicia put Trevor 4th because she felt like, I do kind of want him to stay around. I would like to investigate and figure out more about Trevor. Obviously, I would imagine that Chloe put Trevor in 1st place. And then, you know, I don't know where Emily went with it. I don't know exactly where Savannah went with it. But this could be where the tactical thing came in. Maybe people thought, oh, Trevor's rubbing people the wrong way. I can put him higher up. But who knows? I feel like I'm just lacking so much information right now.
And then we had our top 2. It was Savannah and Teralicia. Who was 1 and who was 2?
Terralisha was 1, Savannah
good
was
for
2.
Terralisha. There you go. They will get to be the influencers this week, but first, they're going to get to give immunity to one person each. That's going to really narrow things down.
It is, and it really it doesn't matter at all because the same people that are going to be giving immunity are going to be the ones who choose the person to block. But it matters in the sense that it's a very public show of who is basically your most important person. And so Terralisha is very right that this could either help or really hurt her game.
Poor Chloe. She has a nervous wind now.
Yeah.
But it's not helping. It's not helping for her nerves.
She's got to be very careful. She's flinging herself all over the place, Rob.
She's got to be very careful. And that's the end of Circle episode number 1.
That's it.
Yeah. 1 down, 11 to go.
There we go.
Yeah.
These it was a fun start. I was definitely left wanting more. I feel like probably the better experience is to continue on from this point.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the first episode?
None other than I hope it. I do feel like I remember the first season also starting a little, feeling like it was a little off, and then I got really into it. So I'm hoping that's what happens this season.
Do you have a pick for who is the elimination going to be?
I think there's a decent chance it just might be River. We just saw so little of River that I didn't see a single conversation River had in the entire episode.
I don't know my Circle Edgic like you do. Do you feel like that they would get rid of somebody that we don't see a lot of, or do they give them like sort of like the visibility spike because they're going to go home?
I feel like in last season in the US, the first person eliminated was the model or whoever she was, and I felt like we didn't really hear much from her. I feel like they tend to they really want to go in on their big characters, and so either they have big moments or they'll last a long time. If they're not going to stick around, they'll just kind of ignore them.
If I recall, going back to the first episode of last season, we did get to see like she had one private chat call with Joey. And so if we're going to look at that, I wonder, could it be Bryant? Could Bryant be the first boot?
That's definitely possible. Bryant was last place. I actually, when I saw Bryant's intro, it stuck out immediately as, oh, this guy might be out early. Just because they didn't spend a lot of time on him. He is such a big character, and they're giving a lot of time to him in the episode, but the intro was pretty short. Courtney is another one that I'd be a little bit like, I'm not sure where this is going to go. I didn't feel like I got a lot from him in the episode either.
Yeah, I just feel like that the two women that are deciding, Terralisha and Savannah, I feel like that they did not really have a lot of bonding moments with Bryant. I think Emily is on the table also as somebody who they could be a little bit sus about. And then Chloe, I think, is also in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, worth noting, Savannah put Bryant in last place in her rankings. Terralisha put Chloe in last place in her rankings. So it would not surprise me if those were two of the bigger people to potentially go. I don't think we would lose Chloe this early, which would lead a little bit more toward Bryant potentially. But there's another whole 24 hours for people to make an impression. Do I trust Bryant to make a good one? Not necessarily, but we're going to just have to wait and see on that one.
One other thing I forgot to mention, Savannah says a couple times in this episode that she'd be open to dating in the Circle.
Chloe, I'm single and ready to mingle.
Single and ready to mingle. That's been a minute since we heard that.
Yeah. And how many mosquitoes does she need to fight?
Yeah, that should be a good Circle question for the next episode. All right. Taryn, can you tease us at all with what's coming up in Circle recap number 2?
In Circle recap number 2, I'm going to be talking with a friend of Jack himself, Bryce Isaiah. And yes, he will be joining me. We'll talk about episode 2. We'll get his thoughts on how his buddy's doing here.
Emily!
Hopefully we'll get some Emily's.
Yeah.
And we'll have some fun. It'll be a great time.
Yeah. Okay. That should be great. Be sure to subscribe to our Circle podcast coverage at robhasawebsite.com. Period. Or no, I'm screwing it up.
Period.
Rob has a website, period.com/, Circle Podcast. And we're also posting the videos here on YouTube. So you can see us along the way. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to get all of our Circle coverage, plus also everything else that Taryn is doing on Big Brother Canada. How about that?
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Check it
Taryn,
out.
what else do you have coming up podcast-wise?
Just Big Brother Canada stuff. We've got the Circle stuff. We just talked about Guatemala, where we talked about returning players. That was a lot of fun. And you can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taryn Armstrong. I'm always chatting about all kinds of things over there if you want to chat with me, a geezer.
Yes, a geezer who gives good chat. Taryn Armstrong. Of course, we'll have all the rest of the Circle coverage all along the way over these next couple of weeks. Plus, we are currently doing our top 40 season countdown for Survivor. If you are just jumping into our podcast coverage, everything Big Brother Canada, wrapping up 90-Day Fiance as well, plus Tough as Nails, all at robhasawebsite.com. Happy to have you on board for our coverage of The Circle Season 2 on Netflix. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.